Hello, and welcome to a new program on METV. I'm Charles Clapsaddle, Station Manager for Manatee Educational Television, and welcome to Food for Thought. Joining us today are two people who have a great responsibility in our school district and will be the new host for Food for Thought. Joining us today is Sandy Ford. Sandy is the Director of Food and Nutrition Services for the Manatee County School District. Sandy, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today.
This is awesome. We're excited.
We are too. And also joining us today is Sky Gundy. Sky, thank you for joining us. You know, you're one of the catalysts in trying to put this program together, and we look forward to future programs that you're going to be hosting on Food for Thought.
We're very, very excited, and I look forward to it.
Well, one of the key things that people don't realize, I think, is the extensive services and resources that food and nutrition provide for the Manatee County School District. It's pretty extensive, isn't it, Sandy?
Yes, we really are a far-reaching program, feeding children from breakfast to supper.
And it starts early, too, doesn't it?
Yes, we have breakfast starts as early as 7:15 at our high schools, and then we pick up elementary and middle school. So it's an early day for our staff. They're usually in the schools by 5:30.
And we want to talk about the great staff and the managers that you have at each school in just a moment. But you know, the mission of what food and nutrition provides is pretty extensive. Starts in the morning, it goes all the way through to snacks in the afternoon for after-school programs and after-school services. So you're there, your people are there pretty much all day.
Well, you know, our mission is really to provide a quality, nutritious meals to help students be ready to learn. Mm-hmm. So everything we do is student-centered and focuses back on helping those students be prepared to learn in the classroom.
And Sky, you know, fortunately, we have some really great examples of what that nutrition is. And, you know, when you brought this in this morning, everybody was taking a look at it and going, this really looks great and looks appetizing. But a lot of work goes into the preparation and the planning for what those foods are that we provide to all of our students.
There is a lot of planning. There's a lot of regulations that go into our program to obviously make sure that students are getting the right nutrients and that we're providing them with healthy choices. So the menu planning behind the scenes is extensive. Mm-hmm. It starts the year before.
Wow.
Looking at products, trying to stay on top of what's new and exciting, and to give kids new things to look at when they come in the cafeteria. And then our staff works hard to make sure that everything is prepared to the best quality, that it looks good, and then it's ready for the kids, nice and fresh.
And you know, as Sandy mentioned, you know, that it's so important to have good, nutritious food for the students. So their mission at school is to learn and be positive. So food is an important catalyst to make them feel, you know, empowered, correct?
Yes, it is. It really, and we like to give them lots of choices mm-hmm. so that they really can feel empowered in making those choices. And research shows that if they get to make the selection, they're more likely to eat it.
Well, one of the things, and I'd like for each one of you to take a moment to talk about it, is that, you know, what the department does in food. You know, you're very student-oriented. You know, you listen and you kind of categorize what students want at different grade levels, but you're also, as you mentioned, Sky, about healthy choices. And if you look around at some of these examples today, you have a beautiful Cobb salad, you have a brand thing. This is a lot of, you know, thought and preparation goes into this. Is that correct?
That is correct. Customer service is one of our number one things that we want to treat students with respect and to make them feel like they are truly a customer and that they're getting that quality customer service experience you would expect in a restaurant. And so we like to offer the choices, yogurt parfaits, all different kinds of salad. And then if you make the salad look fun and what they see in the restaurants, they're more likely to choose it. Kids have a much more versatile tongue than they used to.
That's true.
Taste
Because
buds. I mean, they like spicy. They like things we would have never tried when we were like hummus and yogurt parfaits and things that weren't available to us when we were in school, and now they have that option. So it's really awesome.
And I think one of the key components, and Sandy, I'd like for you to talk about it for a moment, is that it used to be many years ago that food in schools wasn't always the healthiest food. But now, during your tenure and your leadership, you've really made a conscious effort to bring healthy foods to school.
Thanks for that. We have always tried to provide fresh. So one of the things we've always tried to do every single day is have some fresh produce, fresh salad every single day. And we've done that for a long time. But over the course of the last 4 years, the regulations have really changed significantly. We didn't have a lot of shifting to do, but we still had a few things products we had to shift. So now all of our grain items are whole grain. All of our, I'm sitting here looking at this Cobb salad thinking it has bacon on it. And that's a great example because that's turkey bacon, low-fat bacon, but it still gives the students the flavor. So I think products have come a long way. All of our cereals are whole grain. We use low-fat milk. Nutritionally, things have really come a long way.
Yeah, they have.
As far as what we offer the students. And like Sky said, their taste palettes have really changed. And so they like these foods.
I mean, you would never know that's a whole grain PB&J. It looks like white bread,
looks
right?
Great.
It looks like white bread.
It really does look good.
They really figured out ways to make the whole grains look appealing, and we've really tried our hardest to taste test with kids, to look at the different manufacturers, to go through to find out who has the best of the best of those items to try to make them the most acceptable to students.
And I would say to you, just looking at the milk selection over here, you've got chocolate milk, which kids love, but it's low-fat chocolate milk.
Oh, it's fat-free.
And it's wonderful. So you have the taste that kids like, but it's done in a healthy choice.
Correct.
And that's really, I think, is far-reaching and very, very perceptive of you to realize that we want to provide healthy foods throughout the course of the day. It's not just for lunch or it's not just for breakfast. It's throughout the course of the day for all of the meals that you prepare. But I want to move on a little bit and talk a little bit about the extent of what you serve. You do breakfast, lunch, an after-school snack. You also provide supper. You have a fresh fruit and vegetable program, as kind of evidenced here in the fruits and vegetables that you have. You have a community eligibility program. And one of the great things, and hats off to you, Sandy, for doing this, you had a wonderful summer program that was available this year, which was just a tremendous success. So the extent of all that you provide is a lot. You said the day starts early, your staff starts at 5:30 in the morning, and by the end of after-school programs and even supper for some people, it's a full day.
I think one of the great things that we do is provide all those meals. Our summer program did superior this summer. I don't even know what word to use because it excelled.
Tremendous.
And I want to say that it was because we were able to leverage some marketing with our new bus. Although we fed over 7,000 meals off of that bus. So the bus had a place. Two places. It had a place to provide service to students, but then it also enabled us to really draw attention to the summer program. But I think last year was our first year with the supper program, and I will never forget the principal when I went and talked to her the first time about maybe offering supper at her school. And she said to me, she was so excited because she said to me, oh my, that means that all my students have to worry about is taking a shower and reading before they go to bed at night. They don't have to worry about whether or not they're hungry. And that's stuck with me through the whole process of starting up supper. We do breakfast and lunch. That's more traditional school nutrition programs. We do the after school program for those kids that are in after school care, and as is the supper program. Then the community eligibility program is new for us this year.
Right.
We are feeding children free at no charge in 23 schools. All of the schools that are eligible for Title I funds are also participating in the community eligibility program. So we've seen, particularly at the secondary level, we've really seen our numbers skyrocket because the kids get to eat for free. So we're providing them lots of these same choices that you see here for that free meal. I'll let Skye talk to you just a little bit about the fresh fruit and vegetable program.
And I'd love to hear about that, but I must tell you that, you know, the supper program, and I must say just a few words about the bus program. This was the first year of the bus program?
It was.
It was just a tremendous success. It kind of caught everybody, you know, with a tremendous amount of pride that the Manatee County School District was going around. They had free food available for young people to get, and it was like when they saw the bus, and it's a beautiful, you know, kind of graphic inspired bus, it was better than seeing the ice cream truck coming down, because you knew you were getting a great meal and served. You know, the kids could actually come on the bus and eat. Is that correct?
Yes, the kids could eat either on the bus or outside under the awning at tables. We had an awesome opportunity to partner with transportation. So we actually had 2 bus drivers that helped us. It was the last couple days of the summer program, our staff was very emotional because they realized that the difference they'd made. It had really opened up their eyes to the difference that they were making in providing those meals to kids.
And it was, you know, I mean, you know that during the school year, you're going to be, you know, those kids that are going to get a meal, they're going to get a breakfast, they're going to get a lunch, and, you know, even the after school. But during the summer, you know, it's not always that easy, you know, to do that. And the school district really stepped up under, you know, the leadership of the 2 of you and provided something that this community hadn't had before. And, you know, congratulations. And I think that, you know, the coming summer, it's probably going to be more successful. So.
Well, I heard Skye talking about 2 buses.
There
so.
you go. A fleet of
a
buses.
fleet.
And I think it's a great idea. Now, one of the key components, as you know, Sandy mentioned, and you know, we can evidence by seeing some of these, is the fresh fruit and vegetable program. Skye, you know, what exactly is that?
Well, that is a program that is under the Farm Bill, and what it does is provides a fresh fruit or vegetable snack to kids like midday in school. And it is at 11 of our schools, the higher free and reduced elementary schools. And they get to try everything from pomelos, kiwi, jicama. I'm trying to think of all of the fun things we've tried in school. Asparagus.
Wow.
They had multicolored cauliflower today that was orange and purple, and so they get to try all kinds of fun things. But they also do get the staples, the grapes, the oranges. And on top of that program, not just providing the snack, but there's also a nutrition education component that we include some social studies, where it came from, the origin, how it grows, the nutritional benefits, some math, like maybe what state produces the most or what country and how many pounds they produce, that kind of thing. So it's a pretty interesting program, and we hear a lot of great stories out of it. But I wanted to add to the CEP program, the Community Eligibility Program. It has been awesome because in a lot of those schools, you have a parent that might not, or family that might not qualify for free meals. But that doesn't mean that they're not struggling.
Exactly.
And the budget isn't tight.
Exactly.
And by them knowing they can send their kid to school and they get free breakfast and free lunch and sometimes a free snack or supper, that has taken a burden off of them and allowed that money to go to other places that it's needed. So it's been awesome to kind of see those results in those schools.
And how do you enroll in that? How in the community eligibility program, how can people take advantage of that?
Well, it's at the specific schools, so there's no enrollment. If your child attends that school, that's it.
You're eligible.
You're eligible. So
Well, that's a terrific.
I did not bring the list with me, but it is on our website if they want to see those schools. But they're the Title I schools, so they're the schools that have a higher need for that nutrition, so that the kids can learn better.
I think that's a really wonderful opportunity, for schools to partner with their community to continue to provide, help and assistance and kind of a guidance too. And Sky, I must tell you, as you're talking about your fruit and vegetable program, where you institute kind of a learning component into that, hence the name Food for Thought. So I'm sure that's so kids really get an opportunity to learn. Not only are they having the nutritional side of it, but they're also getting a learning experience, which is, I think, a great idea.
We really do try to partner with the educators in the school district to utilize our bulletin boards, utilize our kitchens, utilize our staff to really partner in the education program.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the extent of what the food service provides. Let's talk about the number of meals. We know that people start early, school starts early. And tell us a little bit, if you can, about the number and the participation that you have. How many kids are we taking care of every day?
Well, we believe that we touch about 41,000 of our 47,000 students.
That's tremendous.
That doesn't mean that we feed them each a complete lunch or a complete breakfast. But what it does mean is that somewhere along the way, we're touching those 41,000 students. It might be that they just come by some fruit, or maybe they just come by an entree or a milk. But at least they're coming and getting some form of nutrition from us. So we're pretty excited about that. That's a pretty high average.
That's a tremendous number for a school district to do, and that's each and every day, Monday through Friday. That's a lot. And with a staff of yours, you have to rise up to meet that challenge each and every day.
Yes, we do, and I have to say we have a tremendous staff, because this isn't my program. This is their program. It's all of us working together at the different schools. And
we're looking forward, and Sky will be interviewing some of those people and some of the managers and key personnel that are in some of the different schools. We're looking forward to meeting those in additional programs on Food for Thought. Let's talk about, we talked briefly about the extent of meals. So you start out with your breakfast. But give me an example of what a breakfast is at a school. And we have the parfait, and we have some fruits and vegetables. Give us an example of what you would do for a breakfast.
I think I'll let Sky do that, if that's okay.
Sure.
So every day menued, we have a hot entree. Along with that, we have a menued fruit, and then you have obviously milk every day to choose from, and we also have out every day 2 other types of fruit as a selection for the student to choose from. We also have what we call daily options, which are our cereals, bagels, toast, yogurt parfaits, super rounds, which are these fortified. They're like a donut, but they don't have powdered sugar or anything. They're like a cake donut, but they're fortified with vitamins and minerals.
Oh, wonderful.
So we have little PB&Js. I think there's probably a student in the district that eats a PB&J for breakfast and lunch every day of their whole time with us. But it's a staple, and it's out there so they have a lot to choose from for breakfast.
Now, you had mentioned this to me at one time that, when you're planning the menu for this, you do this kind of extensively, and you look at not only the selection, but also the nutritional value. So you're constantly, as you map that out for the thing, you're looking at, well, that has a great component to it.
Yes.
We need to include this.
We do a nutrient analysis. We look at a week average, and there is a caloric range I have to stay in. Fat percentage range, sodium. Of course, all of our items have to be whole grain. And then I have to make sure I offer a certain number of grains and fruits during the week. So it is an extensive process to look at the menus. And then to make sure that you're offering things kids want. This year we have new banana bread that's been a big hit with the kids.
It sounds great, and we're talking about these foods, and we must tell people that we're taping, relatively early in the morning. And as Sandy and Sky are talking about this, all this really is appetizing.
Yes.
And it's a fun meal that kids will enjoy. Let's move on to the lunch thing, and
Okay.
we're looking at these salads. It's a great looking Cobb salad, and as Sandy said, it's got turkey,
Yes.
bacon, and cheese, fresh vegetables on it. Tell us a little bit about the choices for lunch.
So lunch is a little different at each level. Elementary has two typical entrees. When you get to the secondary level, they'll have an entree and then maybe a hot sandwich or what we call a limited time offer. But then they also have menued 2 vegetables, a fruit, and then milk. On top of that, every school will have at least 2 types of other fresh fruit out for them to choose from. A lot of them will also put out other veggies that they have as a selection. Then we have the daily options at lunch, which are salads, sandwiches, wraps. They'll put out sometimes yogurt parfaits,
Wow.
little Munchables with crackers and cheese and meats in them, hummus plates. Did I miss anything else?
I don't know how
other,
you can...
other hot sandwiches. Some schools make a buffalo chicken sandwich every day, or they'll have something every day that they know their kids are coming in there for. Chicken sandwiches are huge at the high school.
imagine.
Chicken sandwiches and cheeseburgers are out there every day. So pizza, we do a Domino's at the secondary level. It's called a Smart Slice pizza. Domino's was very clever and caught on to the new regulations quickly and developed a whole grain pizza with a reduced sodium sauce, reduced fat, reduced sodium cheese, and a
Wow.
low fat. And we were not using the whole
good for
grain last year, and we decided to kind of silently roll it out May. And we did not hear any feedback. The kids didn't seem to notice that all of a sudden it went to whole grain. I don't know because it still said Domino's on the box, or
But still,
it's
what
and
a healthy
it
choice.
tastes wonderful. And I've actually asked them if you couldn't order it for home, but they said no. So
Well, this is in keeping with what Sandy said about, kids today, they have a little bit more of a sophisticated palate. They want to see something that they see at home or they're
Yep.
out and stuff. So, these choices that you're allowing them to make, they're very familiar with.
Yep.
And you can continue that nutritional effort that you're putting forward.
we also try to develop that culture in the cafeteria that if you try something and you don't like it, you can come back and get something else. So
Oh, well, that's a
we
good
kind
idea.
of hope to develop with them a sense of security that maybe I'll go out and try this new Asian noodle bowl, and if I don't like it, I can come back and get my chicken tenders that I gave up to get this, and I didn't like the thing I chose. So we try to make sure that they have that feeling that they can branch out and try new things too.
I don't know, the Asian noodle bowl sounds pretty
It
appetizing.
is. It's the chow mein noodles with the
Yeah,
Asian chicken
sounds
on
pretty
it.
good. But one of the things that you do, is that after-school snacks, and those for kids that are in programs or perhaps in athletics or whatever, that need a snack, before the end of the day. So you kind of comprise what that snack is as well,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. I remember when I started, Sandy said she didn't ever think she'd be doing a supper, but we are doing that. So it's either if you're in an after-school program, there's the after-school snack program, or there's also supper. They have a little different requirements for both. The after-school snack is truly like what you would serve your child when they came home from school: some crackers and a milk, or some fruit and a milk, or some
Sure.
cheese and a juice, or a small little
Something
snack
that's
to give them
nutritional and a little boost
give
of
a little
energy.
boost of energy, help them to be able to study or play on the playground or whatever they're going to do during the after-school program. Supper is a little bit more hearty. It is a hot entree with some fruit and vegetables and milk too. So two separate programs, but both offer a little more energy to get them through the rest of the day.
I mean, it's so extensive, and it's so extensive, so appetizing, and it's something that really resonates with the students too, which I think is an important part. And as Sandy mentioned, it's customer service. They're our customers. Tell me a little bit, if you can, about some of the different extent of what you have for produce, Florida produce specifically. Do you have some of those stats? How much?
We
how much
actually
do you
have increased our. The state has really gone with that fresh from Florida. I don't know if you've seen the logo.
Oh, I have.
And we are under the Department of Agriculture in the state. So that is definitely something that's being supported, that local produce is really being supported at our level.
Which I think is
who's
a
over us.
key thing, which, I mean, there's so many great, areas in the state where you can get fruits and vegetables.
But we
from.
have, I think Sandy has stats, so.
Pardon me while I read, but these stats
No,
are really
absolutely.
kind of mind-boggling, so I don't want to get the numbers wrong. We bought over 103,000 pounds of lettuce last year.
Wow.
We bought almost 3,000 pounds of fresh spinach.
Wow.
Another big one is we bought 26,488 pounds of cucumbers. Now, I don't know that we would have thought about our kids eating cucumbers and liking cucumbers, but obviously,
did.
as this one,
Yeah.
this sample tray right here, we use cucumbers a lot.
That's great.
We bought altogether almost $1.2 million worth of fresh items.
That's fantastic.
And while not all of that comes from Florida, we have really worked with the Fresh, as Sky said, with the Fresh from Florida program to try to increase the amount of fruits and vegetables that we are buying locally. And we have a good partnership with our supplier that they let us know when they are able to buy local.
Oh, that's good.
And as we see the climate shift from summer to fall to spring,
Right.
different products become available. We've done some great partnerships with some of the potato farmers in the area to really showcase potatoes in the spring.
Green beans.
And green beans. And
Tomato.
so we try to make it a learning process, not just about buying, but also about teaching the
Exactly.
students where the food comes from.
Well, and I also think too, because of the extent and the supply that you must have, you're always looking at supply and demand. If you can get something from the state of Florida for things, that's great. But if that's not available, then you have to look for other sources. So you're constantly evaluating where you're going to get the best food at the best prices from. So and that's kind of an ongoing calculation.
Well, and our food cost for every meal we serve averages about $1.30. So if you think about that, about when you go to the store and you try to buy that food for $1.30,
It's not.
I can't always afford. We can't, as a program, we can't always afford to buy some of the items locally because
Sure.
the price becomes
Exactly.
a big factor. Orange juice is a great example. We were working with the Florida Department of Agriculture to buy locally produced orange juice. They were really excited about the program and excited about it, and then suddenly they couldn't even afford to participate in
Sure.
it because the price of local oranges went skyrocketing. So.
And I think that's a kind of a constant thing, and at the end of the day, this is a business, and you want to you have the most effective use of your dollars, that you're going to spend, that you can get the better return. And that's a constant kind of evaluation that I'm sure you and your staff are doing. But one of the key things, Sandy, that you brought up, and I'd like to kind of expand upon it if we could, is about the budget itself. How much dollars are set aside, how this district is funding. But I think the key part that I'd like for you to spend a few moments on is that you and the food services, you make your money. Your money does not come from a line item in a budget. You earn that, by your sales. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right.
And I think that's tremendous.
We have a $26 million budget. None of it is general fund money. It is all food and nutrition services money. Unlike other departments in the district, we really are able to generate our own revenue. But you've heard us talk a lot about customer service, and that's a key element in generating that $26 million worth of revenue. We pay for all costs associated with the food service program. So we pay labor, benefits, we pay renovation. We have renovated a couple schools this past summer. We'll be looking at doing a couple more next summer.
And that's total like kitchen renovation you're talking
We
about?
have spent several $1 million on upgrading and changing kitchen structures.
That's terrific.
So we do all of our equipment repair and maintenance. So I think a lot of times, we buy the supplies. So when you see a napkin, we've purchased that napkin. We do everything related. We do the custodial. We support custodial. We support the teacher aides who are monitoring the kids in the lunchroom. We have a piece of a lot of different puzzles in that $26 million.
Well, and it's that self-sustaining, that kind of outreaches for anything connected or related to what food service does provide. You self-sustain that.
That's
and
correct.
I think that's a tremendous thing, and I think that's something that the community should know about, because it's not a line item. It's not coming out of general funds. It is specifically money that's generated through food services that allows us to be as extensive and as quality-oriented and in detail-oriented as you are, and that's tremendous.
Well, I mean, we receive state and federal reimbursement, but it goes, I'm going to take it back to the student. It goes back to the student. And if we don't provide a service and provide quality food for those students, they're not going to eat it.
You're exactly right.
And so customer service is what makes us successful.
Well, and I think too, the success of the program is kind of evidenced here, that you're very responsive to student likes and dislikes. You want to do a wide variety of things, and you're kind of age applicable as well. Certain kids in high school, perhaps, they're not going to go for perhaps certain items, and that you're aware of that, which I think is fantastic. But hats off to you, Sandy, for the leadership in sustaining that, so there is not a draw against the school budget, or there is not a gap. And to be able to think that you're using that money to renovate a school's kitchen so they can provide better service, quicker, faster, more efficient equipment, perhaps, that's a tremendous asset for the school district to have.
Yeah, and we redid Nolan Middle School this summer, and the kids, first day back, it was done by the first day back, and the kids just watching their faces when they came in to a line to a serving area that was going to be a little more customer friendly was awesome. That's the payback, to see the students actually be excited about something as simple as changing the serving line.
And and it makes it attractive, and it makes it feel like a really comfortable place where they can do. And for especially, I would think, young children, they want to have that kind of sense of home. And that's really important.
Well, and that's a staffing issue. I mean, that's where the staff come in, because they treat all of those like they're their own little babies.
They call them their babies.
They call them their babies.
That's great.
So there is a relationship that develops in those 5 years that a child is in elementary school.
And with food services, there's so many components to a school district. There's the educational component and the transportation component and all of those things. But that close connection, between someone serves you a meal, and you make sure you have a milk, and make sure you're eating your vegetables. There's a close connection with those children and your staff.
Yes, there is, and that really does make or break the program. I mean, that is one of the, I'm not out at the schools every day. Sky's not out at the schools every day. But the staff that is in the schools every day really is that connection to this whole piece of the puzzle.
And I think it's a wonderful thing. And in your efforts to kind of let the community and families know about it, you've kind of instituted some marketing tools as well. And one of the things I'd like for you have a new app, which I'd like to hear a little bit more about. And you have marketing people, you have some new marketing people on board.
We do.
That are doing those things that are kind of outreaching to the community, which is really important. So for all those successes, that Sandy talked about, you're leading the community and those families now that we're doing a great job.
Yeah, you have to keep up with the kids, and the kids are up on technology. And so there's actually an app called NutriSlice, and you can download it to your iPad or your phone. You can look at it online, and it pulls up the menu based on what school you're at. You put in your school, and it actually has a menu for the day. And if you click on the item, picture of it pops up with a description and the nutrients and the allergen information all right there. Mom can still print the PDF for the refrigerator of the month's menu, but the kids, you actually see them in some of the high schools,
What's
like
for
on
lunch?
there. Yeah, we did just add somebody new to our team, a marketing and communications person. Her name's Jessica, and she is going to be working hard to reach the kids. because it is tricky to develop messages that work across the board. We have a lot of different audiences. We have parents,
You have parents,
parents, students, the community at large. You have school district employees, staff. So we have a lot of different people to
Well, I
reach
think
with
that's
different
important.
messages.
Sure.
So we really did need somebody that could really put time and effort into making sure that that plan isn't just good for this year, but it's a long-term plan, and that we're maybe utilizing some new things like Facebook and Twitter and those
Exactly.
social medias that will catch the kids.
And your program, Food for Thought, I think
Yes.
is going to be a real important asset, as you develop your marketing plan, because you're going to be able to see people and see different food service employees working and talk to them about the success that they continue to bring to the schools. It's really an important thing, and I love the NutriSlice app thing, which I think is great because people are savvy. They want to see what's
Yeah.
for lunch. They want to know, and if you're a parent and if you want to know if your child's getting a good nutritional thing, you can look at it immediately and know.
I had a little first grader that is a friend, and I was telling him about the app, and the next thing I know, he's got the iPad out and is telling me what's for lunch the next day. So it's a very easy app to use.
That's
and
fantastic.
It just amazed me.
And I think that's a great tool to use, and it's easy, accessible. So I think that's a great tool for you to continue to use and outreach to the community. But I want to take a few minutes as we kind of wind down here a little bit and talk about the extent of the free and reduced program that you have throughout the school. Sandy, if you could, tell us a little bit about some of the stats of what you provide for free and reduced meals.
Overall,
district.
our district is about 63% free and reduced. And it ranges anywhere from a low of 16% to a high of about 99%.
At different schools.
At different schools.
Right.
The whole purpose of that program is to help parents to be able to provide healthy meals to students. Parents can apply online. We've tried to make it as easy as possible for parents to have that eligibility. We're also directly certifying a lot of kids. If a family receives food stamps or Medicaid support, the state gives us that information. So now parents no longer have to apply for those benefits if they're in that category.
Well, that's an easier operation than to be able to do that, is that as you get those facts and figures from the state, you can do your own roll, so to speak,
Right.
of who's eligible.
Well, and it's all electronic, so it's all seamless, and we have an electronic point of sale system. The students are never identified. They can come and have their lunch, and no one knows that they're free or reduced.
Exactly.
They just come and get their lunch.
And I think that's a big part of it too, because if there were free and reduced eligibility for students, a lot of students would not get anything.
Well,
Would you-
and that's very true, and we've seen families struggle. I think that's one of the great things about the community eligibility program is that whole process of free and reduced eligibility and identification is gone.
Yes.
So I think that it's a program that's there for parents and kids to help them be ready to learn. That's
Yeah.
really what it's all about.
And the free and reduced program is is a great tool for a district to have to make sure that that nutritional food that you provide each and every day is there for all students who are eligible. And I think that's a great thing to have that kind of program that is seamless that a family can utilize. And I think that's a wonderful tool for the community to have. You mentioned it. Sky's mentioned it about the staffing that you have. And I think in future programs, Sky, you're going to be talking to some of the managers. But in a regular school, can you tell us a little bit at the staffing that makes up food services?
Sure. It's more Sandy's specialty. I'm probably scaring them by telling them I'm coming. They're all very
She's coming to a school near you.
They're all very camera shy, but but what they all have in common is they love the kids. So at each school, you will have a manager, and then depending on the size of the school and the number of meals they serve, they'll have staff members also, ranging from the smallest of 4 up to a staff of 12.
About 15.
15
high schools.
some of the
Well,
big high schools.
that's a good size
So
staff.
depending, some of those high schools will also have an assistant manager or somebody because the staff is obviously so large. So it really ranges in the number of staff of the program. And then in the office ourselves, I think we're at 14 now. 14.
So it's
for all
pretty
54 schools.
extensive throughout the district.
Total, I think it's 375
75.
employees that Sandy's responsible for. So.
And one of the things that, in a school, and perhaps, both of you can answer just for my sake, is in a school you have a manager, and they have a menu that comes district-wide, or they have the opportunity to devise their own menu?
They have a menu that's district-wide, but then they have the opportunity to add some additional choices.
Oh,
so
good.
they can add additional student favorite sandwiches at that school. They can add some additional salads. And they do fruit and vegetable. They have to follow the menu, but if you took the menu and you went to a school and looked at what was being offered, it's not what's on the menu. What's on the menu is there,
Right.
but so are carrots and
Sure.
other items that kids really like.
So each school has the opportunity to kind of like follow the template, but at the same time kind of expand a little
Absolutely.
bit within the guidelines that
Absolutely.
you provide, which I think is a great thing, kind of gives that each school a little individual choice.
Absolutely. And, the students are very different. We have schools that they'll like the Asian noodle bowl, and we'll have schools that they won't like the Asian noodle bowl. So I think it gives them the staff an opportunity to adjust according to what their students' likes are.
And I think that's a great thing for each school because they're very knowledgeable about what people like and they don't like. Well, nobody touched the grapes, but they like the apples, that type of thing. And I think that's a really important because you want to have that each individual school have that sense of like we're here because we want these our students, and I would imagine that each school envisions that there are students.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So we're kind of winding down. I want to kind of go through a couple of things. First of all, the extent of meals that you serve is staggering. I mean, it really is. 40, as you said, Sandy, you touch in throughout the year 41,000 students. The school district, I think, is up to 46, 47,000. So you're touching a good portion of the entire student body every day.
Yes.
The extent of meals that you provided is pretty extensive, and I think this is really a wonderful, opportunity for families to understand that it's not just this, or it's not just this. The choices are pretty extensive, and that's a key thing for a family to understand. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, just to know that their kid will find something that they like in the lunchroom. It's not just what's put on the tray and given to them. They have a lot. There's something in our cafeteria that they will eat. Even if they're a vegetarian and just get fruits, vegetables, a juice, and some bread, they'll find something that they can eat as a meal.
And the key thing I think that families should know about is that this is nutritious, healthy food. It's not
Quality
sweet.
name brand food. Tyson, Jenny O, Uncle Ben's. It is Schwann's. It is quality name brand foods.
And it's healthy.
And it's healthy.
And that's a really wonderful thing because, throughout the country, there's questions about, food and nutritional value and, things. But this is healthy. It's fruits, it's vegetables, it's whole grain bread, no fat milk. Those are the kind of things that, families are very cognizant of at home, so it should be replicated in the schools. And that's a great thing. And I do want to, again, just touch briefly on the great success that you had with your summer program. That was a wonderful program. It served a great community need, Sandy. And I would say that you're already planning for this coming summer.
Yes, this summer we took over the entire Manatee County to offer the summer program. Previously, there had been another sponsor. So we sponsored all of the sites this summer. It was a learning experience for us. But the bus made 3 stops, and all 3 stops were successful beyond what we expected. We'll take a look at the opportunity as we go into planning for summer. Fortunately or unfortunately, our discussion about what to do next summer will probably start as early as December.
Yeah, well,
So,
which is, not
Yeah,
that
not
far
around the
away.
corner. Yeah.
So we'll start the conversation and see exactly what it is our community needs, because the summer program is really a community program.
And and that goes hand in hand with your community eligibility program as well. So I think what you've done, and here is our mission to provide good nutritional meals to our students. But the wider picture is to how can we help this community, and by your community eligibility program is really taking a step in that direction. And what do you want people to know about that eligibility program, and how can they get involved in it at their schools?
I think it's all about, I always encourage parents to come to lunch. Because I think one of the things that it's not our parents' school lunch program. And so you always want to encourage parents to come to lunch so that they can see what is offered. They can come and eat for, I think it's $3.
I think it's $3.
And they can come and have lunch with their student and sit with them and actually have conversations with them.
That's a good idea.
In future programs, we probably should spend a little time talking about the new health and wellness policy that we're implementing this year that is changing the nature of food available to students across the district. But, it really is all about looking for ways to provide a service to the community. We have Pack-A-Sack programs, which are programs on Fridays that send food home with students.
What a great idea.
And that is a community program. That's not us. That we're just the gatekeeper.
So you enable that to happen through the schools.
Right. We're just the gatekeeper and just the connect the dot person. So if a community group wants to help with Pack-A-Sack, we'll help connect them with a school so that they can become partners with that school. And so there's lots of good things happening out there related to the whole concept of food insecurity and children and adults not having enough food to eat.
And it's so important, there's statistics.
I think one in four children is food insecure.
And there's a lot of, aside from the homeless, student population in Manatee County as well. So what you're doing is really, serves a greater need, than the school district alone. It's a community issue, and you're outreaching, and that's a great thing for the school district to continue to do. And also, the key thing, which I think is just a tremendous thing, is how you're budgeted and how you do a self-sustaining budget through the year. So there's no drawdown from school funds. It's not taking away from any other program. It's that self-sustaining nature of what the food service provides, which I think is a tremendous asset for the entire district.
Yes, and I consider us big business, and so we have a business plan. We operate a business model in order to be able to do that. And that allows the district then to spend their money on educating students and not have to worry about the food service program.
We also try to be very transparent with where that money is going, and on our website you can see what we have is called a dashboard. It actually kind of shows where we're at, compares some numbers to some benchmarks, so the public can see where that money is going and how we're doing.
I think that's a great thing, and they can go to your website, which is, again, tell us what that is.
ManateeSchoolFood.net.
ManateeSchoolFood.net. We're going to put that up on the screen. So if you're, a family member, or want to find out kind of how food service operates, you can go right to that website. See your menus, see what's available, see kind of how your operation is, and also some of the other key things that food services continues to do. So we're looking around this food. It looks very appetizing here. As we were putting this out today, I think you whetted a few appetites here in the studio. But I must say, the quality and the caliber of the leadership that you've provided is really exceptional. And I think this community should know that Sandra is, very exceptional. She's been awarded the School Nutrition Association President from 2012 to 2013, the International Food Service Manufacturers Association Silver Plate winner in 2014, and the Food Service Achievement Management of Excellence, which was a national award. Is that correct? Golden Director of the Year in 2014. So this is national recognition of the leadership that Sandy has continued to provide this district. And Sky's, incisive leadership, her ability to bring things together makes for a great team, along with all of the other staff. We're very fortunate in Manatee County to have the caliber and the quality of your leadership continuing to help the children of Manatee County School District. And as you look around today, final comments, Sky, what do you want this community to know about food service and all that you offer?
That we have healthy choices every day for their students, and they can be assured that when they come eat with us, they're going to have a happy, nice experience and get something good that they want to eat.
And it looks great. And Sandy, final word for you. What would you like the community to know?
Just to remember that we really are a customer service focused organization, and we're going to continue to do that, to really make sure that the choices we offer are nutritious, kid-friendly choices.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule. And Sky, thank you for taking the time as well. And we look forward to your hosting the program, the next edition of Food for Thought, which will go to some schools perhaps and maybe talk to some of your staff and find out more in detail about the great things that are happening with food service and the choices that are available for young people.
Yeah, get some real life shots of what goes on out in the school and let parents and community get to see exactly what kids get to see when they go through our lunch lines and meet some of our staff.
Well, I think Food for Thought is going to be a great program for this community, and we look forward to you hosting it next time. Again, thank both of you for joining us, and thank you for sharing all of this great information about the great work that is being done here in Manatee County in food services. And thank you for joining us on this special edition of Food for Thought. And we'll see you next time on METV.